Welcome back to the AB Scale Project. I'm Krieger, and this is Alpha Bravo, and today I'm really excited about this. We've got our new Silverbolt, and with that we get our Superion. So this is really cool. You get the picture of Silverbolt in the current 2 released aerial bot. It was cool. You also get the robot mode here. Looks a lot like the cartoon. Come over here, you got some primes. You come over here, you have Superion. It's a really cool shot. So you get better lighting on that. Pretty cool. There's the product shots. Pretty neat. Go on top, we get all the primes in there. So that's pretty cool. Still waiting for that new Power Master. That looks pretty cool. Anyway, and the underside is legal. So that's about it for the box. Let's look at the contents. And here we have Silverbolt in his robot mode. He looks really cool. Looks very animation accurate. I dig it. Turn him around here. He does have a lot of the nose and tail on his back. Can't be avoided. All about symbols. Not a lot of hollowness that doesn't have a purpose, so I like that. For articulation, head's on the ball joint. Arms, you can flick the wing back there, and the arms can do whatever you want the arms to do. No wrist because of the transformation, but pretty good. He does have a waist. It's kind of limited, but it is there. Some skirts up there, so you can, up here, you hit kibble that direction. Good knee bend, going out here. Really cool. Extreme ankle tilt. So, yeah. And the ankle tilt kind of clicks in, too, so that's pretty neat. The feet are a little stubby with big heels there, but that's mainly because the feet are the arm attachments and for Superion mode, so that's pretty cool. All right, and he comes with his trailer. So we'll call it that because that's what they called on Minosaur. And the trailer in this mode is a base. I'm not a huge fan of base modes, but this one's more of a combat emplacement, and that thing doesn't like to stay tabbed on. But hey, you get a combat emplacement, and you can stick Silverbolt behind there and have him man the gun. So yeah. A little lackluster in this mold. It shines in other molds, but in this mode, it's kind of lackluster and doesn't like to stay tabbed in. But trust me, it's worth it. By the time we get to the end of this, you'll see. All right, back to Silverbolt. So besides being pretty well animation accurate and looking good and really articulate, let's go ahead and compare him to the Combiner Wars. You see a little shorter because this is the new Voyager scale. This is the old Voyager scale. And you can see the proportions are actually a little bit better. I like it because these are the thighs for Superion. He's got really thick forearms. I like him better here where everything's more proportional. So overall, I think the look is a lot better. So that's pretty neat between those two. We'll take a look with the Siege Optimus. Well, not Siege, the Earthrise Optimus. And they're about the same size. So it's the Siege Scale Voyager. So pretty neat. And of course, before we move on, we're going to take a look at compared with his 2 little buddies so far released. And I think that they make a pretty good team. I can't wait to get Skydive and Fireflight and have the full aerial bots. I mean, this is probably the best set we've ever had, honestly. All right, let's check out the jet mode. And here we have Silverbolt in his Concorde mode. And it looks pretty good. He looks like he did in the cartoon, so that's really good. You still have the robot under jet phenomenon, but it's kind of unavoidable with Silverbolt when you have such a sleek jet mode. There's really not a place to pack a robot. And the gun will mount on the front here. So that's pretty neat. And he will do the nose dip thing like Concorde. So that's really neat. But yeah, overall, not a lot to say about it. We'll bring in the Combiner Wars. I'll give you a plan form here so we can get both in the shot. As you can see, the difference between them. This is like the Concorde that was released, and this is like the 2nd generation Concorde they were going to make, or some other country's Concorde, or SST. So, yeah, just so you can see comparison between the two. So yeah, definitely more cartoonish, more closer to the real world. We'll bring in Air Raid. Let you see him next to Air Raid. So it looks pretty cool. Get a better shot. There you go. That's a better way. Air Raid, Slingshot, and overall, I think they look pretty good together. Can't wait to get the other two so we can finish it off. So, yeah. Alright, that's really about it for the jet mode. So, nope. I almost forgot. How did I almost forget this? Alright. Can't forget the trailer. That's bigger than the jet. But this is pretty neat. We'll split his vertical stabilizer, which is kind of cool because they kind of have a distended Autobot symbol in there. So let's see if I can zoom in on that. There you go. You can kind of see the Autobot symbol in there. So that's pretty neat. But anyway, we'll flick that up. We'll bring these wings up. We'll flick these out. And then we dock. Put these wings back down. And there we go. This to me looks more like a space cruiser than an aircraft. I mean, this is big. I mean, you can even like throw your couple other aerial bots on top, so he's like a mid-air aircraft carrier. But yeah. But this is cool. But like I said, it looks more like something that'd go through space than something that would go through the atmosphere. But still, pretty cool. You can see most of the components underneath there. So yeah, I like it. I think it works. The way they continue these lines out. The wings look like they're very short. So again, it would be like a re-entry vehicle. But yeah, I like it. I think it works pretty well. It wasn't anything I'd expect them to do with Silverbolt, but I think the execution was actually really good. I don't really have any complaints about it. So now let's go to the final achievement, the crowning glory. Let's go to Superion mode. And here we have Silverbolt in the Superion mode, and he looks great. I dig this. This is just really cool. And we got our 2 bits. Slingshots guns don't want to stay on, but we got the aerial bots we got so far attached. Looks pretty good. All his plane bits pack up there, which don't stick out more than Air Raid does, so that's okay. Looks good, and he does have the closing door thing like Minosaur had. There we have Slingshot over there in his arm mode, and that just looks really cool. And just like Minosaur, tons of articulation. Whatever you want to do. He's got the wrist here. He's got everything. Lots of clickety-clacky joints. I'm loving it. And just what I like about these is that you can just get them in just super action poses, and they stand up. This is just like having a large action figure. I mean, it is not as cumbersome as the old ones were, where they just kind of fall over if you look at them wrong. These are full-fledged, 14-inch action figures. So yeah, it is cool. So yeah, and plus we got a waist joint. Yeah. Anyway, let's get him back to standing straight. He does have a couple extra combat points here, so that you can actually take the gun, which the gun does do a peg, and it also goes over this peg, or go hole in the peg there, so it doesn't move back and forth. But you can also stick it up here, so it can be like you see in a lot of the animation where his guns, running up his arm there instead of in his hand. For some reason, they did that in the animation. And the only other real big difference with the animation is that, these thigh pieces were all yellow, but they added the gray piping, which is a little different. But they also made the face mask gray instead of like gunmetal gray on black, which I like it better with the silver, just because it pops a lot better than the gunmetal did. So I like it. I think this is probably the best Superion ever made. I can't wait to get the other two. They're supposed to be due out the end of the year. So this is really cool. All right, we'll take him. We'll bring in the Combiner Wars with a Perfect Effect kit, and you can see they're about the same size there. And you see this is like the more IDW interpretation because, they went off the toys when they made the IDW. But it looks neat. And you can see how much better proportion this is just because they did cheat with the whole trailer concept. But yeah, it does. This is, like I said, this looks like a 14-inch action figure where this is definitely a combiner. The proportions kind of suffer, but it still looks cool. I mean, I still love this one. I still like the Combiner Wars Superion. But this you can actually play with. You can take this off the shelf and play with it. They made the head more animation accurate, where this is more like the comics. So put him aside very carefully, because again, the Combiner Wars like to fall over. Like he wants to fall over. Stay. Okay. I'll bring in Minosaur. See how they look together. And I think they look pretty good together. You say definitely see them, fighting it out. So yeah, that is pretty cool. And both really, really posable. And yeah, I like it. I mean, I was dubious about the frame combiner method, but I'm sold. I mean, just the fact that you can, like I said, take these off the shelf and play with them makes a huge difference. So, anyway, that's Superion. Let's go ahead and do our final determination. So, is this our new IDW G1 Silverbolt / Superion? Yes. Yeah, it is. You're gonna, like I said, just the fact that this is super playable. If you do want the more IDW accurate, then yeah, keep your Combiner Wars. I mean, I'm going to keep my Combiner Wars anyway. It's just, this one is going to take its space on the shelf. I mean, because this looks like the original cartoon. You can take it off the shelf and play with it, like I keep saying. I love it. This is the Superion I've wanted since a kid. I think that hits all the notes. Looks great. The posability and is great on it. It's just great. Anyway. Let's wrap this up. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining us today on the AB Scout Project. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, ring that bell, and I'll see y'all later.